So here I am in my loaner car, my Mazda's, getting a bumper repainted as part of the agreement. I guess there was a scrape on it. Anyway, so I'm in the 2014 Nissan Altima. It's got a push-button start, as I'm sure you've seen by now, and it's interesting. And the one thing that stands out the most is, as new as this car is, and as much as I believe it should be standard equipment by now, there is no USB jack anywhere in this car that I've seen. I've had this car for about 24 hours now, and there is nowhere to plug in a USB, which means that there's nowhere to play my iPod, my iPhone, or even charge it without getting a little 12-volt adapter plug. So we're going to take a look around the car and see what we see. All right, we have the gauge cluster here. The keys inside the car. It's a push-button start, as I mentioned before, and this is what it looks like when it starts up. Very cool. You can see the monitor, the screen in the middle with the readouts. Now the thing is I'm not sure if the perspective is going to come out in the video, but it actually seems to be leaning back on a slant, and I don't know if I like that. Of course, you have the tach on the left, the speedometer to the right, gas gauge on the right, temperature on the left. They did give me an automatic because, as you know, all loaner cars and rentals are usually automatic. But yeah, that screen right here, that's behind here, is actually on a tilt back, and I'm not really sure what the reason for that was, or why they didn't just put it flush. You can also page through the settings here with the buttons on the steering wheel, which is pretty nice. And that's it for the gauge cluster. Alright, well, the steering wheel, typical Nissan steering wheel, has the controls here. This is the button I was changing the monitor with on the gauge cluster. This, of course, would change, stereo settings, what have you. This side here is for the cruise control, and also the Bluetooth. As you can see, the man yelling at his phone. The stereo here is okay. As I mentioned, it doesn't have a USB plug, which I still am baffled at. That's not just standard at this cost of car. The one thing that it does have is that's 3 speakers. There's a center speaker and a speaker in each corner of the dash, and plus the ones on the door. The only disappointing thing is that even though there's 3 speakers on the dash, that it still sounds like all the sound's coming from your feet. And obviously, if you're into car audio and you're into staging and all that bullshit, you don't want the sound coming from your feet, which makes it silly to, of course, have the sound coming from below you when you have speakers, especially of that size, being that high. Now, honestly, I haven't really looked into this. I don't know if the center speaker is just for Bluetooth or what have you, but yeah. And I'm not sure what trim package level this is, so I don't know how much more it would cost to get like navigation and all that, but this version does not have it. This is one of the 12-volt sockets in the car. The other one is inside the center console underneath my armrest here, which I will not show you because I have a bunch of stuff in there. Also, we have the comically large glove compartment, and that's actually a 2014. So, as I said, it's a large, so it's equipped with advanced airbags, and they decided to put this no smoking vehicle tape on here, so just in case. They told me no smoking, no pets. That's good, because I don't smoke, and I don't specifically have any pets that usually ride around with me. So, that's all good. As far as the door, window controls, and locks, very simple. This actually feels pretty good on the finger. Yeah. Of course, the mirror controls. And comparative to my Z, all the other regular controls controls are in the normal Nissan space. Except for this, I've never seen a trip reset on the left side, unless it was actually a button. But I've never, I mean not a button, but actually I've never seen it on the left side of the steering column before. One thing I don't like about this car, the foot brake. I usually prefer cars with handbrakes, which I guess would be where these cup holders are, or this change holder. I prefer handbrakes because foot brakes remind me of my grandmother's cars. She always had cars with foot brakes, so that's my opinion on that. The interior has this really soft microfiber. It's even on the center console, seats. It feels really good. It's really soft to the touch. And obviously, they're not going to give the rental out with a leather interior because people just, next thing you know, someone's sitting down with a pen in their pocket and puncturing the seat, and then they have to get that patched up. But it feels really good. It's also here on the door. It's really effing soft. So that's good. Now, as far as the steering on the car, it's pretty tight for a car this size. It's not the tightest I've driven lately, but it's pretty good. The brake reaction, it's right there. Right when you put your foot to think about braking, it engages, and it's brakes are a safe thing, so I don't want to say it's overreactive, but it's pretty quick to the punch on the braking. So, obviously that's a good thing. So now to the obligatory sunglass holder. Now, some cars, when you put your sunglasses here and it's hot outside, when you take them out, they will be extremely hot, and they will actually feel like it's almost burning your nose. So I haven't tried it in this car because I just haven't, and I put my sunglasses in the center console. It was just easier because that's where I'm keeping all my stuff, because I don't want to leave something in the car when I return it. Then I have to go back and get it. So either way, lighted mirror, fancy. Anyway, so, and of course, the regular mirror. There's no extra digital stuff on the mirror here. So that would be nice, but not today. Back seat and foot room. Of course, you see the speaker there. And honestly, when, looks like there's some more back here. When I'm driving the car, I don't hear anything from back here. I don't know if that's good sound dampening or poor stereo design, or maybe both combined. Center console, more of this really soft material. You might need to be alone with it for a while. Anyway, so you got the cup holders here, and there is a lot of leg room back here. This is where I would drive with the seat. Obviously, I'm not the tallest person in the world, but I'm not the shortest. So plenty of leg room for me, both front and back. So if I wanted to drive myself or someone my height around, that would be just about perfect. Of course, the normal pockets, they don't stretch too far, I've noticed. Maybe they're just not broken in yet. Door design. Of course, what also is nice that they have their own specific light with a button on it for themselves. They could turn that on and off. And this is the view from the back. So, the trunk size, I'm actually in the trunk here, and there's plenty of room for myself to lay here comfortably. Let me put this down over here. So, stupid tripod. Thumb out of the way. So there's plenty of room here. It's nice and comfortable in case you do get jammed in here by some rough guys, and they want to kidnap you and take you away. That's not funny, so don't laugh. Anyway, but there is plenty of room. Let's see the speakers up here. Look to be 6x9, and they're made in Mexico.